Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Badram Karne Vishrunuyama Devaha Badram Pashimakshabirya Jatraha Sthirairangai Stuštubhagam Sastanobihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarkshyo arishtanemi Swasti no brihaspati'r dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We have seen the 7th verse of this Amritabindu Upanishad. We'll read that. Svarena sandayet yogam Aswaram bhavayet param Asvarenanubhavena Bhavo bhava ishyate. Swarena sandayet yogam Aswaram bhavayet param Asvarenanubhavena Bhavo bhava ishyate. Swara here we have seen as Om. Any swara is actually sound, what is known as tune. Swara. That's why our Swami Tejamanji wrote Swara to Ishwara. He wrote a book on how sound or music can be leading to Lord. Because many great luminaries like Tyagaraja, Purandaradasa, Surdasa, and so many masters have used music as a means to reach the Lord. Kanakadas and so many others, Mirabai. So what does it mean? Swara means sound. But the sound, how can it lead to God? Because it is said, the creation began with the sound. The Omkara is considered as the primordial sound. Because basically you see, sound is vibration. And that vibration is that which is traveling through the air in the space. Base nature of space is what? Or the quality of space is sound. The nature of or the quality of space is sound. Like air is the movement, touch, like that. You've seen that in Panchadashi also. So, Shabda is the first thing created. Shabda, then Sparsha, and Rupa, Rasa, and then Gandham. This is how the grossification: sound, touch, form, taste, smell. This is the order. So, first when it is Akasha is the first one created along with the quality of sound. So, obviously sound is the first one created. It is said that the child which is in the womb of the mother listens than anything else. It doesn't see, doesn't hear, it doesn't smell, taste. Probably it is tasting also the food, but it hears sound. That's why they said that you should, expose yourself to some good thoughts. Not only good thoughts, you should chant the name of the Lord. That's what Prahalad could hear his mother chanting Om Namo Narayanaya. When he got delivered, first thing he uttered was Om Namo Narayanaya. So Om is considered as a primordial sound. So Svarena, first Yogam Sandayet. To start the process of meditation on Brahman by Bhavayet or here Sandhayet, join. Sandhi means to unite. Sandhi, to unite, to meet. That's why they say, no, the end of the road, what is called? Sandhi. That's where we meet. Two roads meeting is a Sandhi. So Sandhya. Sandhya means what? The meeting of day and the night. Sandhya Kala. So Sandhayet means meet. What? Whom? That very self meet with the sound. Sandhayet. Yogam Sandhayet Swarena. So join your mind with the sound of Om. So then it said, when you mind, that's where we saw that very Om has got three letters, A, U, and Ma. So in the last class we saw that Upanishad, that is Mundaka Upanishad, very beautifully said, Dhanur grihitva Upanishadam mahastram sharam upasa nishitam sandhayita. Ayam yatadbhavagatena chetasa laksham tadevaksharam saumya vidhi. Considering the Om as the bow, keep your mind as the arrow, sharpened, very well sharpened. And then Ayamya, pulling it, tadbhavagatena, with the mind intent on reaching Brahman, chetasa, with that mind, lakshyam tadeva aksharam. What is the lakshya? Target is Brahman. Then release. Then what happens? The mind will come to have oneness with that self. So therefore here the A, U and Ma, it depends upon which letter you are concentrating. If you are concentrating on A, then there is one result. If you are concentrating on U, there is another result. If you are concentrating there is another result. This is how the mantra, the great masters have understood. So when you concentrate on Akara, Akara means that is the first sound we open. As soon as you open the mouth, what sound comes? Ah. When you are, yawning also, ah. You don't say ooh. You say ooh, ah. So Akara. Jagaridistane Vaishwanaraha Akaraha Ityadi. We have seen that. That means the visible world, gross world, waking world is what we open up to first. Taking that as the first thing, Akara represents the Jagaridasthana. And in that, what happens then? Such a person, when he meditates upon Akara, from being a Virat, Virat means the individual waking being. We are all Virat. No, we are not Virat. We are Vishwa. So we are Vishwa, we wake up to Virat. See, I have a world of my own, meaning my thoughts, etc. But when I wake up to this world, the world which is having trees and plants and animals and beings and so many things, so I am opening up to the Vishwa becomes opens to Virat. Correct? But when the meditation upon Akara is done consistently, one gets merged into the Virat. The cosmic world, gross world. Then meditating upon U, that is which is the second matra, which is considered as second matra. Then such a person is identifying with the dream world. Swapnasthanaha Tejasaha. Tejasa is the name of the individual who is identified with the mind and intellect and rejecting the physical body. That's what we do in dream. In dream, we are not identified with the physical body, but we create our own illusory body in dream state. So when you are entering into the dream state, which world you are in? We are in the world of subtle body. Now, when we are in the subtle body, even when you are waking, when you are awake to the world, many of us, most of the time, we are in our subtle world only. Even though we are interacting with the people outside, we are only responding to the world, but actually living in subtle world. Because our mind, our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings, our plannings, our ideas and opinions and all judgments, everything is going on and on and on. So therefore, the Taijasa, the individual self identified with the subtle body, when meditating upon Ukara, Umatra, becomes one with the Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is said to be the total subtle bodies. Total. Everybody's thoughts and emotions and feelings. So that is the benefit of or the result of Hiranyagarbha Upasana through Ukara Matra Dhyanam. Then comes the Sushupti Avastha. Sushupti Avastha is everybody. So it is said if somebody is snoring, next to you, you just go to the person and say, he will stop. If anything else you say, you will not stop. Try. Not yourself. Somebody else is snoring. You just have to, you try. Just say, you'll stop. I have tried this.
Really?
Yeah. You try. Go to anybody who's snoring. You'll stop. Both of you should try now. Put a small alarm and wake up.
Yes.
Okay, now this person is snoring. You try that and tell me next class. I'm telling you it works. Any other thing you will say, you will not listen. Just say, okay. I mean, slow. I mean, they will stop, not wake up, thing. So, represents that's what there is the yoga practice of imitating the sound of the bee. So that you do, the mind becomes calm. If the Buddhists you might have seen there, they practice they also use Om only. Anyway. So, Makar, that is Sushupti Avastha. And there, the individual is identified with his Vasanamaya Kosha. It's called Prajna. Last time I explained what is Prajna means. Prayena Ajnaha. In general, ignorant. But interestingly, we are the closest point to the self. Because there is no disturbance from the world, not from the body. Mind is also, intellect also. Nothing disturbs us at that point. We disturb others, that's a different thing. But we are not disturbed by anything. Even our own snore does not disturb us. We don't hear. Body is snoring, but you are not hearing to hear. So that is called prajna. Prajna, prayena ajna. So one who is identified with this world of vasanas, at that point we are not engaging in vasana. We are not doing anything with our impressions. But we are in the midst of that, which is covered by ignorance. Tamo vibhuta sukharupam eti. So at that point it is said, that makaras tritiya matra mitehe apiterva minoti hava idam sarvam apitascha bhavati evam veda. See, our Vedanta is so interesting, I'm telling you. They take up our own experience only to explain. Is it not? We know what is waking state, we know our dream, or we know our sleep state. There only, okay, let us take whatever you are experiencing only. We'll explain what Vedanta is there. So at that point, when meditation on Makara takes place, which is where we enjoy the joyful sleep, what happens there? The total world of vasana, that is because of the Chaitanya associated with that is called Ishwaraha. See, the concept of God in Vedanta is very, very interesting. There is no real difference between Brahman and Ishvara, except that Ishvara is the visible expression of Brahman through the vasanas of everybody. I'll come to that a little later and explain another part. So this, when we are totally identified with the Vasanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha, it's also called, in the state of deep sleep, we are waking up to Ishwaraha when we meditate upon So in the practice of meditation, when one meditates on the makara or ma matra of Om, such a person can eventually be identified with the totality expression of the Brahman as Ishvara. That's why minoti hava idam sarvam apitascha bhavati. So apitaha means into whom everything goes in and from whom everything comes out. See, where a thing merges, there itself it has to come out, right? Where karya becomes one with the karana, and karana expresses as karya. If the mud pot is there, broken, it goes to become mud. From that mud only you can produce another pot. Is it not? So where the karya, the entire creation has got into a merged state, unmanifest state, from there only it becomes manifest again. So apitaha means one who has dissolved, and also at the same time is the one who is able to express that also. Sarvam apitaha bhavati. So the one who meditates on the ma matra of Om becomes identified with Ishvaraha. So this is what is considered as the Swarena Sandayet Yogam. Then comes the next part, Aswaram Bhavayet. Brahman is neither it is Virata, nor it is Hiranyagarbha, also not Ishvara by itself. It is with association with whichever body it is, then Brahman is named as Virata or Hiranyagarbha or Ishvara. You are what you are. When you are identified with a particular role only, you are called whatever you are called. Husband, father, son, friend, neighbor. If you have no If you are living in a forest where nobody is there, who's your neighbor? I am a neighbor for whom? Nobody. I cannot be a neighbor when there is nobody. If you are not married, you are not husband. If you don't have children, then you are not a parent. So when you have no guru or no teacher, then there is no guru. All these are all relation. Ishwaro Guru Ratmedi Murti Beda Vibhagine. Murti Beda. It is according to identification only the Beda comes. Vyaumavat Vyapta Dehaya. Guru, Ishwaraha, Jivaha, these are all various identifications only. So here, when one is able to cross the A, U and Ma and meditate on absolute silence, where the sound ended, Aswarena, Aswaram Bhavayet, Amatraha Chadurto Avyavaharyaha, Prapancha Upashamaha, it is said Prapancha Upashamaha. Prapancha Upashamaha. Then what? It is interesting. Shivo Advaita Evam Onkaraha Atma Eva Sambishati Atmana Atmanam Ya Evam Veda. Amatraha Chadurtaha, fourth. A, U, Ma. Fourth is what? Silence. This fourth is not like the A, U, and Ma, a quarter. So there is A, there is U and Ma, and then there is another quarter. It is not that. Fourth, it is said with respect to the absence of the three. The fourth actually includes all the three also. Because silence is not merely absence of sound here. Silence is where the sound starts and sound ends. Isn't it? Before you speak, what is there? Silence. After you speak, is there? Silence. Did you create silence? The silence is in the background on which the sound travels. Similarly, the Chadurtha, it does not mean, even though it is called fourth quarter, but it is Avyavaharyaha. Vyavahara means to transact. But it is intransactable. It is intransactable means what? It cannot be used as a communication technique. Can you communicate with this in the silence? When somebody is silent, you say, he's not communicating. You not say, oh, what do you want? You ask your children, what do you want for breakfast? Silence. Are you there in the room? Silence. Then what does that mean? No communication. So, Om merges in that silence, and that's called Amatraha Chadurtha Avyavaharyaha Prapancha Upashamaha. Entire Prapancha, entire world made of 5 elements, Upashamanam Gacchati, where it merges, it stops. What is that? Shivaha, Advaitaha, where there is no world, where there is no duality also. If one is there, the other one should be there. Day is there, night is there. Death is there, birth is there. Joy is there, sorrow is there. Happiness and happiness, success, failure. But none of these dualities can be there. Advaitaha evam onkaraha atma eva. In which there is no such dualities that represents none other than the duality-less Om. Duality-less Atman. Because this Atman is there with us even when we are angry or when we are happy. I am happy, I am angry. When you say I am is there, whether you are angry or happy, whether your joy, success or failure, I am doesn't end. It continues to go with you. So same way, Atman is not, neither participates in joy or sorrow, nor it leaves you. Interesting thing is, when you are angry, everybody leaves, but Atma is staying there. Yes, I am there with you. I am happy, I am there. I am unhappy, I am still there. It doesn't either participate in that, nor it will leave you. Because that is your own air. Therefore, sambishati, but such a person meditates on that silence, absolute silence following the sound, he enters what? Atmana Atmanam. By one's own self, he merges in one's own self. So that is the nature of the Atman. So, Aswarena Anubhavena. With that, meditating on that Aswara, soundless, the silence. See, here the silence should not be merely absence of sound, it is absence of thought. Stillness. It is a stillness. A stillness that is Mauna Vyakya Prakatita Para Brahma Tattvam Yuvanam Varshishtante Vasat Rishiganaihi Avrutam Brahmanishtaihi. That Bhagavan Ram Sri Dakshinamurti, that he one who was surrounded by men of great wisdom, and he taught them by silence. How will you teach by silence? As I now only said, the silence is incommunicato. No communication takes place there. See, I have often explained to you this. I do not know whether you remember. When Sitaji was asked, there are a group of rishis who are sitting there, and in that Rama was also sitting in the forest. And then so some of them who were there in the forest, they asked Sita, is the one who is sitting in the left, is he Rama? She said, no. One who is right? No. What about the one second plus last but one? No. They were in turn indicating each one of them. She said, no. When they indicated Rama, she kept quiet. What does it mean? So in the Hindu tradition, they won't tell the name of the husband. She just kept quiet. Then that very not saying is saying. Right? Anupalabdhi pramana, it's called. Anupalabdhi. An means not. Upalabdhi, got. So when somebody is not there, that itself is a proof for that person exists. So like for example, when you go to a party without your wife or husband, first thing they will ask, who is there? They won't bother. Who is there? Hey, your husband didn't come, or your wife didn't come. I came, don't look at me, don't you look at me. So by not being there, a communication has happened, that this person is not there. Somebody who's always there when that person is not there, then it becomes what? By absence, it becomes very evident. Evidently absent. We say that, no? See, yesterday's party, you are evidently absent. Because you always there, you are not there. So everybody is aware of your absence. So communication need not be only by sound. There can be communication by absence also. Which means what? It cannot be explained, defined. To do that, Mauna Vyakya Prakatita explained. Para Brahma Tattvam Yuvanam. Young Dakshinamurti sitting there. Vasishtante, around covered by Ante Vasinaha, the inmates of the ashram or the place ashrama where they were sitting. Vasishtante, and so Brahmanishtaihi Avrutam. By the men who are already established in Brahman, confirmation they wanted. Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudram Anandarupam Smatma Rupam Muditavadanam Dakshinamurti Mide. and that one who is sitting there with complete bliss in that silence. So here, that Shiva, Advaita, Onkara, Atma eva, Sambishadi, Atmana, Atmanam, Evam Veda, one who knows this. So that's why it is said, and because of the very realization of that self as a presence without any modification, in the meditation upon the silence, there again, silence is the stillness of thoughts, where the thoughts are no more, and therefore within oneself meditates in the complete absence of any kind of mental modification. What he comes to realize, what was abhava, unknown, become bhava. That's why I say, bhavaha va abhava ishyate. Ishyate becomes ishyate, bhavati, bhavishyati, you can say. But what is it? What was originally present becomes not present. What was originally seemed to be not present becomes present. Word which was very much available to us becomes absent. Atman which was not available to us becomes present. Bhava becomes abhava. Abhava becomes bhava. Very interesting. See, when a person mistakes, where is the snake? See it there. Somewhere it should be there. When somebody sees the snake, he definitely is not seeing the rope. Correct? If he is seeing the rope, then he would not be seeing the snake. So, what is abhava? Rope. What is bhava? Snake. Now, upon knowing the rope, what happens? What is bhava? Snake becomes abhava. Yeah. What was superimposed becomes absent, on which what is superimposed is become present. It's no more having any reality thereafter. Because of the very nature of superimposition, upon knowing the truth, the superimposition cannot anymore exist. Similarly, bhava it was, the world, the superficial world, the adhyasita jagat becomes abhava. Also meaning abhava is that which is originally of the nature of unmanifest, the self, becomes the manifest one. So at the same time, because they cannot simultaneously exist. If you say a rope and snake simultaneously exist, then there's some problem with you. One eye is looking rope, another is looking. That is not possible. Jagati vilaye Brahma drishti. Only when the Jagat, the so-called names and forms, when it is vilaye, layam gacchati se chet, at that point only Brahma drishti. So that's for bhava abhava hishyate. That's the beauty of this beautiful 7th verse. Continuing on, next point, that is verse number 8 here. See, because bhava abhava, I can go on that because there's so much of beauty in that very verse. But let us move on to the next one. Tadeva nishkalam brahma nirvikalpam niranjanam tad brahmahamiti jnatva brahma sampatyate dhruvam tadeva nishkalam brahma nirvikalpam niranjanam tad brahmahamiti jnatva brahma sampatyate dhruvam. That very thing, tat eva, that one which is experienced as bhava now, experienced as manifest, which is what? Nishkalam. Nishkalam, partless. Niranjanam. Niranjanam means that which is taintless, without any kind of impurity, pure, immaculate. Then tad Brahma aham iti jnatva. Anjana means, really, Anjana means, you put that. Actually, Anjana means anything anointed. Anything that is not, a dirt on a cloth is Anjana only. So Niranjana means with as nothing other than itself. Anything other than oneself is Anjana. Anjate, Anjati. So that is pasted on it, attached to it. Niranjanam, tat Brahma aham. Nishkalam Niranjanam Brahma aham iti jnatva, having known, Brahma Dhruvam Brahma sampatyate. At once, quickly, one obtains Brahman. Now, what is called Nishkalam? Partless. See, our body has many parts, right? Head. No, head itself has got many parts. Eyes, nose, ears, tongue, and then head, forehead, then back head, no head, everything is there. Then neck, then shoulders, then upper arm, lower arm, palm, fingers. Each one finger is one part only. So we have whole bodies with so much of angas. And the angas are referred as parts. Therefore we are called angis. Angi means one who has various angas. So this kalanatmakam deham of various parts in this body. But Brahman is called Nishkalam. So in Prashnopanishad, this is asked this question. Which is the most important thing in our body or in us? Somebody asked this question. So the answer that is given is beautiful. Sa pranamasrjada pranach saddham kam vayujyotirabha prativindriyam manah annamannad viryam tapo mantraha karma loka lokeshu chanamacha. 16 parts are Shodasha Kalas. 16 parts. Interesting is, so if you look at the moon, when is the full moon? When is the full moon? How many days to take happens before the full moon starts? From no moon to full moon. 15 days. On the 16th day, what happens? Either it is full or there is nothing. Right? Either it's Amavasya, there is nothing, or it is full. Then it starts one again. Either it wanes or waxes. Similarly, our being is consisting of 16 parts. It is said in Prashnopanishad. First one is, the creation begins with prana. Prana means life force. Prana. Tat pranamasrjata prana shraddham. Then comes shraddha. I'll come to that little later, what this shraddha means. Then shraddha, then come space. Then vayuhu, air. Jyotihi, fire. Apaha, water. Prithvi, earth. Indriyam, senses. Manaha, mind. Annam, food. Viryam, semen. Tapaha, sapaha, the austerity. Mantraha, auspicious words. Karma, word, action. Lokaha, world. Nama. Loka means rupa. Then nama. This way, 16 parts in the creation. The most important in all that is prana. So that is why when physical body is with all the parts all right, prana chal gaya. Kya hua? So it is said in that Upanishad, or in another Upanishad also we find, that everybody says, I am great, I am great, I am great, I am great, I am great. Every part of the body. So prana keeps quiet, watching all of them. Acha. So, if you think any one of you great, let me go. When he is about to leave, all of them lose their ability to do anything. The mind stops working, and then the senses cannot do anything. All they don't go. You said that any one of you are important, then be you. You will be the best one. Let me go. So they said, no, you stay. So that is considered as the life force is considered as the most important. That's how it is explained in that. Now, so therefore, you see, Nishkalam means, what does that mean? Nishkalam means one who is beyond even the so-called life force, which is the most vital for everything else. Now here Shraddha, the word Shraddha is used here. Shraddha here is that life expressing itself as the very ability to create everything. Here it should refer to, Shraddha should refer to Avyakta Maya. From there only, space, Vayu, everything starts. Because without the Maya and the presence of consciousness supporting the Maya, there cannot be creation. Creation cannot be. So, Brahman expressing a part of him as prana along with the creative power called Maya, then starts space, air, fire, water, space, earth, and then all the indriyas, mind, then the physical body which is made of annam, which has a physical strength called viryam, and with the virya alone a person can do tapa. With the tapas only one come to recognize the mantras. With the mantra alone one can perform karma. With the karma alone one can reach to many worlds, and the worlds are nothing but Namatmakam, Rupatmakam, Nama Rupatmakam Jagat. This is 16 parts. But now let us understand Sankalpa Vikalpa Atmakam Manaha. What is called Nirvikalpam is used. Next word is Nirvikalpam. Vikalpa means what? Vikalpa means any kind of a decision that you take, any kind of thought that comes to your mind is called Vikalpa. Savikalpa, with thoughts. And when a thought comes and it replaces the previous one, it replaces the one which was before that. Usually what happens is we take a thought, a sankalpa, and then we doubt it. We are unsure about it. We oppose it. Then becomes vikalpa. So vikalpa means one meaning is thought, another meaning is opposition to the previous thought. Therefore it is called sankalpa vikalpatmakam manaha. The mind oscillates between, should I do? Should I not do? Can I get up? Today is a long weekend for most of the Irvine school district. So should I go for the class today or not? No. So get up or not to get up? Eat or not to eat? Do or not to do? Constantly oscillates. That is the nature of the mind. So sankalpa vikalpatmakam manah. What is sankalpa vikalpa? Both are vritti rupam. Right? Thought only. So when you say nirvikalpam means vritti shunyam. Nirvikalpam means vritti shunyam manah. Vritti shunyam brahma. Why it is so? Because vritti moolam karana shariram. What is the origin of thought? Origin of thought is vasana. Karana shariram. So vasana mayam. So vasana rahitam is niranjanam. This is why the next word niranjanam is used. Nishkalam, nirvikalpam, Niranjanam. So mind which is thought, when the thought ends, as we saw in the earlier verse, when the thought ends in the stillness, then obviously there is no vikalpa. There is no more movement of the mind. And the movement of the mind will be there, will be stopped until next thought arises out of vasanas. If you keep looking at your mind, you will realize thoughts are not necessarily only sourced from what you see here, etc. But even if the things are not there, the vasana will create a thought. The other day, I was giving a talk in Fremont, and the lady who was serving me said tomorrow. I was going to PSC and coming back. So she said, Swamiji, you are coming home for Bhiksha, what do you want to eat? So I said, I do not take anything made of rice, so you can make anything else. How about Rava dosa? I said, oh, yeah, very good. We can make it if you can make it. So another person who was there next to me, Swamiji asked for masala dosa. I said, I don't want to eat. But I want to eat, no. I am also coming, and if you say no, she will not make it. Say yes, you may not eat, but I don't. So when that thought comes, it was not there visibly in front of you. The thought comes from where? From the inherent tendency or the impressions. So even if the object is not there, present in front of us, or the world is not presenting something, but our mind can create. Thoughts will come. From where? Deep-rooted impressions that are present there in us. So even if the thoughts are made to be absent, unless the vasanas are also conquered, the thoughts will continue again. So therefore, what is the nature of Brahman? Niranjanam. Vasana rahitam. That is what is the dirt of the individual. The impurities are started there. So, tadeva nishkalam brahma nirvikalpam niranjanam. Now, therefore, Brahma, it is said, Brihatvat Brahma. Brihatvat Brahman. The very definition of Brahman is that which is the absolute, big. Briha means big. Brihadishwara, you might have seen, Tanjore, Brihadishwara. Brihat Ishwara. So it is said that Shivalinga that is there is the largest in the world. I do not know whether anybody created more than that. Largest Shivalinga. So it's called Brihat Ishwara. Brihat means the big. So Brihatvad Brahma. And it is said that one who is able to meditate on the Brihat, that Brahman, or one who maintains the thought on Brahman is called Brahmacari. Not Brahmachari. Brahmachari. So one who is, and interesting one place I read, very beautiful state. Brahmacharyashramo nasti vana prastobi na priye garhasto bhikshukascheva ashramo dvau kalau yugaye. Kalau yuge, in this Kali Yuga, garhastha bhikshukastha dvau staha. Only two are there. Householders and sannyasins. Brahmacharya ashrame nasti. Vanaprastopi na priye. In this present Kali Yuga, neither there are brahmacharis nor there are vanaprasthinis. So ask anybody who want to take a vanaprastha. They won't. From grihastha, they are not ready to move at all out. And as soon as a person finishes study, what is that? Immediately get into grihastha ashram. Sometimes while studying itself, grihastha ashram starts nowadays. There is no brahmacharya. What is that brahmacharya sthiti? There is where brahmani charati, brahma vichare charati. This is brahmacharya. So now you see, interesting thing is, what is this called in this verse? It is Tad Brahma Aham. Tad Brahma Aham. This Brahma Aham iti dhyanam is leading to aparoksha jnanam. Aparoksha jnanam eva Brahma Aham iti sthiti. Apara aksha jnanam. Without a mere reference by somebody else. Most of the thoughts are about somebody telling to us. Before Vedanta, would we know even something called Brahman or Atman? It was not taught in university or school or anywhere. So when did you come to know? Listen to masters and or read some books. So whatever you gained from either by listening or by reading, etc., it is only paroksha jnana. According to somebody outside. But here, aham brahma iti, that's what he says, tad brahma aham iti, jnanam is aparoksha jnanam. And that's why earlier also it is said in Panchadashi, etc., by merely repeating Brahman, 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 nothing is going to happen. Brahma, Brahma iti shabdena na siddhyati. By merely repeating Brahman, you will not become. Or then otherwise what happens is all that we have to do, I am a doctor, I am a doctor, I am a doctor, I am a doctor, I am a doctor. Can you become a doctor then? Can by merely, I am a singer, I am a singer, I am a singer, I am a singer. Can you become a singer? Unless that knowledge becomes your own, it cannot be. But interesting here is, if you any other things that you do in the world, not only you know, but you have to do something about it. Right? I want to become a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or a journalist or a painter or a singer. So I first get an idea that I want to be this. Then I ask, what should be done? What should I read? What should I practice? But here, jnatva brahma sampadyate. This is an interesting thing. By knowing, you become that. Aham brahma iti jnatva brahma sampadyate. This aparoksha jnanam is not an action. Please understand this very carefully. Karma is not there here. Kuch karna hai? Nahi. So, kadam jnanat vastu praptihi. How can by knowing you get it? So, if I know a PC or I know computer, can I get the computer? I just want to meditate on I am a doctor, I am an engineer. Can I get it? So, this is interesting. Jnatva sampadyate. By just knowing you get it. How is that possible? See, let us look at science. What is science? First of all, it is observation. Correct? Anybody who discovered any scientific law or any scientific discovery, first of all, they started to observe the phenomena. Why this is happening? What is the reason this is happening? Whether it is Newton's law or Einstein, whatever it is, Newton observed a thing coming down and he started to see why should it come. Question started from there. I observed that the things are falling into the middle of the earth, center of the earth. There must be something in the center of the earth which is attracting this. Without that observation, merely, that's why Gurudev said there is a world of, he divided the human, development of thought into 4 parts. First one was not even considering everything. Everything is going on, somebody, like in the Stone Age. What are they doing? They consider that as, if anything, everybody like animal, they were also doing it. But just slowly the human development going to the next stage of observation. Why there is rain? Why there is sun? Why there is summer? Why there is winter? Why there is this change taking place? So they started to look at observation. The next stage is inquiry. Inquiry into what causes what. Then discovery. Recognizing it. Yes. See, this is how the science develops. So, in the scientific experiment of anything, first of all you observe, then inquire, and then discover. Then apply that to improve your life. Technology is none other than theory put into practice. Do you know that email, etc., which we today usually, very naturally use, was discovered in the Second World War time? In the 40, that time they have already started the process. It is only used for military purpose. Then slowly it has come. So how long it took? The 1948, by the time it came to us, it is almost 40 years later. Why? Because they want to improve the technology, making sure that it is faultless. Make sure that it is really works. Similarly, even electricity you take. Obviously, the hydroelectricity, if somebody had discovered that there is power in movement, whether it is a wind movement or the water movement, or then later on from the nuclear energy, etc. So everything requires first observation, inquiry, and then discovery. Here, jnatva sampatyade, when it is said, by knowing, you become that. That is something we have to think about. Jnatva sampatyade. Brahma sampatyade jnatva. So here we have to understand what is this possibility of knowing and being that. So I was thinking about it yesterday. So the point that comes to, which is said in the Upanishads also, ajñāpitasya jñaptihi aparoksha jnana. Ajñāpitasya jñaptihi. One of the nature of Brahman is jñapti swarupam. The word jñapti is used. Ajñāpitaha means what is forgotten. What is not remembered. Ajñāpitasya jñaptihi. Remembering what is seemed to have been forgotten. So, only by, see, it is like you met a person long time back, and you meet the same person after some 30, 40 years back, but you didn't recognize him. That is it. But a particular gesture of that person is unique to that person. He does that often. Let me just say. So, why are you laughing? Somebody may be doing that. So, so you see, do I know this person? Then, within no time, you are that Raja Rao, right? So now you see, I had it in my mind. Somewhere it is there. But something clicks. Oh, you are that. Tat Twamasi. That Tatvamasi, he says, Aham Brahmasmi. So, I am Brahma Rao. I am that Brahman only. So, now something needs to click there. So, Ajñāpita, what is forgotten, that becomes Jñaptihi. That alone can be explained here as Jñātva Sampatyate. See, we can never forget our own self, really speaking. All things we can forget. This cannot be forgotten. But it seems to have been forgotten. That is called Adhyasa. Adhyasa means what is already there, but seems to be covered by something else. Ganachannamarkam ganachanna drishtihi, it is said. That's like Ganachanna Markam. The sun seemed to be covered by the cloud. Therefore, actually it is not covering the sun, it is covering only our vision. Our vision is covered by the cloud. The cloud cannot go and cover the sun. Ganachanna drakam ganachanna drishtihi yata manyate cha ati muta. Muda thinks that sun is covered. Sun is not covered. Sun is covered. Our eyes are seem to be covered by the cloud that comes in between. So, jnatva sampatyate dhruvam. That's why beautifully it is said that when one comes to recognize the self, recognize, that's the word used, recognize the self, realize the self. That's why it is said, Tad Brahma Aham iti jnatva sampatyate dhruvam. Dhruvam sampatyate. At once, very clearly, surely, Dhruvam Brahma sampatyate. Dhruvam Brahma means the eternal. Dhruvam Sanatanam Brahma sampatyate. That Sanatana means what? Which is never absent. If it is absent and comes to be known, that is different. Later on. For which you have to do action. If apraptasya praptihi karmana. Apraptasya jnapakam jnaptihi praptasya jnaptihi jnanena. What is not there, you get it through action. What is already there, you remember through knowledge. So that is why it is aparoksha jnanam ajnapitasya jnaptihi. We'll see more of it in the next class. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkhavat bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Will not have the Panchadashi class today, those who are attending, because we have Parayan. Yes, you are right.